There's one skill that is solely mainly responsible for me making over 7 figures online in my business with just one digital product doing a little over 900K. And I really don't see anybody working on it. And that one skill is, drum roll please, look, I know the suspense is killing you, right? And before I get into it, I want to apologize about that motorboat sound. That was the first thing that came to mind when I said drum roll. But the skill is communication. Now look, it's only going to take me about 5 minutes to break this down. So if you don't have 5 minutes to spare, then you are going to miss out on the single most important thing that is going to increase your income. And let alone increase your income, it'll just make your life better in literally every single aspect. So look, here's the thing about communication. Now, communication is the single most important thing that you can work on that will increase your finances. Now, I know I talk about entrepreneurship and business, but even outside of entrepreneurship, just in the world, period, even in the workforce, who makes the most money at a 9-to-5? The people that are effective communicators. So even if I just use the best show of all time, The Office, as an example, right? Who makes the most money in The Office? Those guys that are downstairs loading up the trucks, or Jim that is just on the phone all day selling and making money? And Jim, who people started to envy because he was making the company Dunder Mifflin more money than he got to work his way up through the company and get promotions and all that type of stuff, right? From the 9-to-5 workplace to entrepreneurship and business, effective communicators make the most money. Why? Because all that business is coming up with solutions to other people's problems. That's it. And us as entrepreneurs, we need to be able to effectively communicate our solution to the person that is having the problem so we can help them and add the actual value to them. And the only thing that money is value. Money is simply a symbol that value has been exchanged. So we need to constantly be working on our communication skills so we can effectively communicate our solutions to the marketplace's problems. And think about this, one of my favorite entrepreneurs of all time. When you think of Apple, like an iPhone or your MacBooks and stuff, who is the first name that comes up when you think of Apple? To this day, it's Steve Jobs. To this day. And Steve Jobs has been dead for a long time now. But Steve Jobs was an effective communicator. So the messages that Steve Jobs communicated all those years ago, it's still really the only reason that Apple is still making money. Because Apple has not came up with anything great or unique or game-changing since all the ideas that Steve Jobs communicated to the marketplace. Steve Jobs knew how to effectively communicate the iPod. Steve Jobs knew how to effectively communicate the iPhone to the point to where the customer base for Apple thinks that it's cool, because anybody that knows anything about technology, they know that the iPhone is not a superior product. Androids actually have better phones and better features, but the people that have iPhones like myself don't care about the great features and stuff. We want the simplicity of it, and deep down in us, whether we realize it or not, we think having an Apple product makes us cool. That's why iPhone users kind of stick their nose up in the air and look down at the green bubbles when they come through in text messages. Let me know if I'm lying or not if you have an iPhone. I know when you get that green bubble, you be like, oh, they don't even have an iPhone. But that happens through becoming an effective communicator. So remember this, all that we are as entrepreneurs, it's problem solvers, and we have to be able to effectively communicate our solutions to the problems in the marketplace. So how do you work on your communication skills? First of all, you need to read. You need to read more. And I hate when I tell people that they need to read more, and then they be like, oh no, dog, I don't do that reading stuff. Yeah, you do. You read every single day. You may not read books right now, but you read at least 300 to 500 statuses, captions, tweets, descriptions per day. You're reading, but what is it that you are actually reading? And here's the thing, when I say reading, you don't just need to just read for the sake of reading. Reading is actually a waste of time the way that 99% of people do it. You need to read. Let me correct myself on this. If you want to be an effective, successful entrepreneur, you need to read different than 99% of people. I classify entrepreneurs as a whole different species than the rest of the population because we have to do things different, we have to act different, and we have to think different than the masses. So I call entrepreneurs, but everybody that is not an entrepreneur, I call them civilians. And you have to destroy the civilian mentality. So, like I said, the way that most civilians read is a complete waste of time. They're either reading for leisure or they read just because they heard somebody suggest a book. If you just read something because somebody suggested it to you, 9 times out of 10 it's going to be a waste of time because you don't know the reason why that person was reading it. So what most beginning entrepreneurs do is that they go and they watch some guru or they watch some high-level entrepreneur that they look up to and they hear the books that they recommend and then they go read those books. No, you need to be reading books about things that you're currently going through, about things that are actually affecting your life. This is how you actually learn. People, they spend so much time, quote unquote, learning when that learning that they're doing is actually disguised as procrastination. And they go and get so much useless information. They go read so many useless books. They go watch so many useless YouTube channels. Then in their head, they're wondering, why am I not seeing any results when I have all this information? Because it's nothing that applies to what it is that you're actually doing. So the way that I read is that I take blind action first. So I know what it is that I actually don't know what to do. And then I go and seek the knowledge about what it is that I don't know what to do. Whereas what most people do is that they're just going out and seeking knowledge and it's just nothing that they can apply. So you need to read about things that actually affect your life. Then the things that you read about, you need to take notes about what you read about. But 99% of people that take notes on what they're reading, or most civilians, I'm not even gonna say civilians because most entrepreneurs, they mess up on this too. They're just taking notes. But instead of taking notes, think about this. We're working on improving our communication skills. So don't just take notes on what you're reading, take notes on what you're reading makes you think. This is the big key. Most people, they read and they just take notes about the subject matter or about the information in the reading. But if you take notes about what the reading is making you think, this unlocks a whole new part of your brain. Because now, when you go back and refer to your notes, you're not going back to referring to the notes of the stuff that you truly don't understand yet. You're going back to refer to the notes on what you think the content says, about what you think and how you process what is on the actual pages. Now, here is how you actually work on your communication skills through processing the notes that you took on your reading. You then communicate about what it is that you actually learned from your own notes about what it is that you think. And how do you communicate this? You teach it. There's 3 things that I make sure that I do every single day. It's that I work in public, I create every day, and I teach every single thing that you know. The reason why you may not be learning at a pace that you feel like you should be is because you're not teaching or speaking about what it is that you actually know. This is just elementary. This is just the way that our brain thinks. Think about this. When you were a child, how did you actually learn stuff? I'm not talking about all that pointless memorization that they just plugged into our brains. I'm saying when you actually really did learn something, didn't you go and immediately go teach somebody? Didn't you go home and say, hey mommy, hey daddy, this is what I learned at school? Didn't you go tell your brother and sister, hey brother, hey sister, this is what I learned at school? When you learned something new on the video game, or you learned how to, I know I used to, hey mama, look at this, and I jump up and I spin up in the air because some other kid just taught me how to jump up and spin in the air. We learn more by applying something and then actually teaching it. And I know this, and tell me if I'm lying, the reason why you don't feel comfortable teaching the new things that you learn is because you don't feel as if you're an expert, and you don't need to be an expert at all. Here's the thing, and I need you to really understand this. People don't teach because they're experts. That ain't it. People become experts because they teach. I really need you to understand this. People don't teach because they're experts. People become experts because they teach. And the best way to become that expert, the best way to be able to speak from that authority is to gain new knowledge, apply it, and then teach it. Another way to work on your communication skills, how else can you work on communication without communicating? You gotta talk to people, yo. You gotta talk. Open your mouth, holler, speak, talk, can you do it? And this is mind-boggling to me. It happens to me like every single week. I'm not exaggerating on this. They'll tell me, well, my communication skills suck. Or they'll say, I don't have good communication skills. And then I ask them, well, have you communicated with anybody this week? They always tell me no. Talk to people. You work on your communication skills by communicating with people, and you need to accelerate your progress in communicating with people. And there's no better way to talk to more people on a consistent basis than creating content. This is the key to everything, especially if you want to grow your business online. Because when you create content, instead of sitting there and you're talking to this one person, you're talking to this one person, you're talking to this one person, when you focus on creating content, you can communicate with the masses. This month alone, from my very, very small YouTube channel, I've communicated with close to 100,000 people. My small channel has gotten about 100,000 views this past month. That's me communicating my message to the masses. There's no other vehicle that exists today to where I can get my message to that many people from this one spot. I have multiple versions of myself, multiple little Aston CEOs out just running around and frolicking all over the internet, talking to people all day. And here's the thing about creating content and communicating your message through your content. You gotta know who it is that you're actually speaking to. Where most people are messing up is that they're just making content, or they're just trying to communicate with random people. No, you need to speak to your avatar. Your avatar, this is going to be your customer profile. If you really want to start to build an audience and gain some momentum and get some leads that will convert to sales, you need to be communicating and speaking to your avatar. This is one person, not many. When you're trying to speak to everybody, when you're trying to sell to everybody, you don't speak to anybody. You don't sell to anybody. Think about your favorite creator. They make content speaking about a specific subject, and they all know, including myself, that we're talking to a certain individual. And when you're talking to that certain individual, you will be shocked to find out how many more people out there in the world fit that one profile. But you got to hone in on who it is that you're speaking to so your message can get to them. And then once you know who it is that you're actually speaking to, you can create a flywheel effect for yourself. If you're not familiar with flywheels, I was studying Jeff Bezos and Amazon. He runs everything with Amazon with these flywheels. And a flywheel is basically, it may take a little bit of time for the flywheel to start going, but once it starts going, it just works on itself, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger on its own through the system that's in place. And system is an acronym, SYSTEM. System stands for saving yourself time, energy, and money. So when you know who it is that you're actually talking to, when you know who it is that you're actually communicating with your avatar, you can create a flywheel effect for yourself to where you will start to get in front of more people that fit that avatar's profile without any more effort from yourself. And this is how this goes. If you know that you're speaking to your avatar, and then you create your content for that one avatar, then the algorithms will start to categorize you. This is where most people mess up. They'd be like, oh, I hate the algorithms. The algorithms hate me. They won't show my content to anybody. Well, because the algorithms don't know who to show your content to. Then the algorithms will use their organic traffic sources to put you in front of more people that fit your avatar's profile. After a while, like I said, this flywheel effect starts to kick in, and with no more effort from yourself on you just working on communicating your message to the masses, it starts to grow on its own with no added effort to yourself. It works if you work it. And when you work on your communication skills, Think about this, and this is a huge one. This is underrated that most people don't even think about. When you work on your communication skills, it helps you ask better questions. And asking better questions and knowing what questions to ask will take you to places that you cannot even imagine. Just this simple thing. Think about this. And I hear people, I get so frustrated. Like, people, they have the opportunity to meet somebody that has information that can change their life, and they don't even know what to ask them. They'll ask some generic type of stuff like, what motivates you? What keeps you inspired? Because they have poor communication skills and they don't even know what to ask. You know how that thing went viral on the internet? Like, would you take this much money or the dinner with Jay-Z? I'm like, take the money, because 99% of people wouldn't even know what question to ask this man that they could actually do something with and implement to get a result. I'm not saying I'm nowhere near the level of Jay-Z, right? But I know people that ask me something, or people, they may see me at the store or the restaurant or something, and in this small moment of time, they could ask me something to where they could actually implement. And then they'll ask something like, what keeps you motivated? What keeps you inspired? You're not gonna be able to do anything with that. But if you took massive imperfect action and hurried up and figured out what it is that you don't know, go and seek the knowledge from that, go and communicate every single thing that it is that you learned. You're working on your communication skills, and you'll know what to ask when you get in front of somebody that can change your life. And working on your communication skills, it helps you think better. And this is a thinking sport. Whoever thinks the best wins. Because here's the thing, you cannot think without using words. So if you improve your communication skills, you're going to think better and think more clearly and be able to strategize better for yourself. This one simple skill can have numbers coming in online in your business like all them that you see on the screen right now. And if you're ready to make more working less online from stuff that you already know with a digital product, go ahead and click the link down in the description. Join the It's Crowded at the Top community. For weekly coaching from myself, all my exclusive trainings, plus a private community of entrepreneurs, all designed to grow your business online. It's only $47 a month to join right now. That's less than a cup of coffee per day. So click the link down in the description to tap in, and I'll see you on our coaching call this Wednesday. But I'm not exaggerating when I say that becoming an effective communicator will change your life. And this is a skill that I don't see majority of people working on at all. They're looking for whatever is the newest hot topic, whatever is the newest marketing trend or marketing tactic, or watching all these how to make money online videos. And guess what? Every single person whose videos that you are watching, they are effective communicators, and they work on that more than thinking about all the ways to make money. If you can just effectively communicate your message to the masses of a solution that you have to somebody else's problem, that will take your business through the roof. So go ahead and click the link down in the description if you want to tap into the community, and I'll see you on our coaching call this Wednesday. Go ahead and check out this video right here for the laziest way possible that you can grow your business online, because it's something that's just hiding in plain sight that everybody is ignoring. It's crowded at the top.